Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for To Your Eternity, chapter 141.5. When we last left our heroes, Fushi had kind of reconnected with Bon and Yuki to sort of discuss what kind of went wrong with his attempted killing of the Izumi knocker, how he was kind of stunned that the knocker, showed pain and lied and protected Mizuha like a real person. Um, and then he Fushi kind of wanted to kill another knocker just to prove he had it in him. I think Bond kind of stopped him because A, they were in a crowded place, and B, because Fen, Nixon, and Izumi had returned, revealing that the Guardian Knocker through Mizuha was leading this underground church of either knocker possessed people or the Guardians who are now pro knocker. It's a little bit unclear what exactly was going on there. Um, and as Fushi kind of pushes discussion towards how to save Mizuha, Izumi tells him that he does not have to save Mizuha. Mizuha has chosen her fate by siding with the Izumi knocker over Izumi herself. That's kind of where we left off. So let's go right on into chapter 141.5, Their Home, Part 2. And so we open with Bon, who's the only one who can hear Izumi, reacting to Izumi. We don't have to save Mizuha. And he sips his tea. I love he has his pinky out. A nice reminder he was a prince once. She's your daughter, madam. Isn't that rather cold of you? And Fushi looks at Bon. Did Izumi-san say that? Yes. It seems she's lost hope because her daughter chose this fake mother over her. And Izumi is kind of silent at that. But Yuki tries to comfort her. Don't give up. There must be something we can do. And hey, it's not like she's been completely taken over yet. With Hiratoshi's help, we even saved Memori when she was totally taken over. So if we can make Mizuha want to live again, we might be able to save her the same way. So there's an interesting thing though, because that doesn't quite seem to be because with Memori and supposedly all the other knockers, the knockers their excuse is, as I've kind of pointed out, that those people want to die. But Mizuha seems to be different. It's more, as I recall, that she, is just kind of a natural fit for the Guardian Knocker due to the long lineage there. And then also she kind of wanted to be free from Izumi, which sort of all led the Guardian Knocker to her, right? I think I'm remembering that right. But anyway, Fushi turns to ask Bon, I guess, did Izumi-san want to die too? And Izumi kind of looks at him. The fake Memori said knockers live inside people who want to die, and apparently Mizuha did. Okay, so I must just be misremembering something. And Yuki kind of asked, did she know that? Oh no, that's still Fushi. Asking about if Izumi knew about Mizuha. And Izumi tells Bon, I guess, I didn't know, but I learned something. I was there when Mizuha's other personality revealed itself. I raised Mizuha incorrectly. It's all my fault. And this is referring to the scene under the bridge from 139. But yeah, Izumi has kind of given up, blaming her own parenting, though. I'm obstinate and stubborn. I have been since I was a child. And we see a young Izumi in grade school. Her teacher tells her, well done, excellent work, Izumi-san. Some kids are kind of talking behind her back. The teacher's playing favorites again. Yeah, but you know who Izumi's family is? I was never taught how to open my heart to others. And we see just this, all of the Guardians, I guess, just welcoming Izumi home. Oh, welcome home, Izumi-sama. Gosh, you've gotten so big. And then they all kind of say, we'll be on our way now. You must attend one of our services sometime. And so I'm curious, because as you'll recall, back when Izumi was first introduced, she was really opposed to Mizuha learning about the Guardians. And so here, we're seeing that sort of the Guardians were sort of a negative impact on her life. And I'm curious if that kind of flavors her kind of shielding Mizuha from the Guardians. Anyway, Izumi asks her father, "When are you going to quit this cult?" And her father asks her, "Were the other kids saying mean things about you at school again?" And Izumi ignores the question and just repeats, "When are you going to stop?" And Izumi narrates, "I hated that my family ran that cult." And her father looks down at her and kneels down and tries to comfort her. "Have faith, Izumi. You mustn't abandon those pitiful wretches. We have been endowed with the protection of the Lord. Think back to the scriptures. If we believe in them, we will one day be granted the power that our ancestor Hayase-sama held. And we will use that power to save the pitiful masses." Okay, so that's an interesting... I'm really, really curious what happened in the view of history to make that the predominant takeaway of Act 1 that we will one day be granted the power that our ancestor Hayase held, and we will use that power to save the pitiful masses. I mean, the Guardian Knocker was not good in the end. The Guardian Knocker was very much a villain. And I'm curious also, Kahak died. Who spread this rumor? Maybe it was the other Guardians kind of left behind. Because I remember there was some pushback towards Kahak being the leader of the Guardians. So I guess that those people survived after Kahak died, which sort of starts up these rumors that the Guardian Knocker is some kind of hero. Anyway, Izumi questions power. Wasn't it just a knocker? Everyone says they were mankind's enemies. And her father slams the book down. "How many times must I tell you that interpretation is incorrect? The knocker that dwelled within Hayase-sama was holy. After defending ancient Renril with Fushi and bringing peace to the world, it returned to paradise with the sixth successor, Kahaku. When the world once again seeks peace, Hayase-sama's knocker will return to us so we can carry out our mission as the Guardians." So yeah, like I kind of pointed out, so I guess that does pretty definitively state, though. Because last time I was kind of questioning if the church we saw were knocker-possessed people or the Guardians. They're pretty definitively the Guardians, if it was not already obvious. "Read the scriptures closer. You are the one who will raise the next head." And he literally, throws the Bible, or not the Bible, but the Holy Book, at Izumi. I've given Izumi a good bit of shit for being just kind of a terrible mother to Mizuha. But she did not have a great childhood herself. But either way, Izumi sort of looks at the book. The next head? "I did my job for the order as instructed." Important to note, she's 8 when her father drops this on her. "Thank you for gathering here today. At this service I didn't fit the position at all. I knew that, but I could not do anything about it as a child." Okay, so it seems like she's doing some kind of leading the church service, or I don't know if church service is the right term to use, but the service. Not because she wants to, but because she's sort of been forced into it. And this woman who is very reminiscent of Kahak comes up to her. "Very well done, Izumi. You have what it takes to lead the order." Oh, so this here is probably a 15-year-old Izumi, is the vibe I get. And this is her mother. Mother? And then we cut to her mother's funeral. Okay. And someone tells Izumi, "It's unfortunate that she died so young." And it's this older, Izumi's maybe 18 at this part of the flashback, and this guy's in his 40s or 50s. He's an old man. He's a middle-aged man. "From now on, I will protect you. So rest easy." And Izumi looks at him. "What? Who are you?" And her father comes up to her. "Oh, sorry, I forgot to introduce you, Izumi. This is Chamihiko-san. He is your fiancé." Okay. So we're very clearly seeing why Izumi was so opposed to Mizuha knowing anything about her heritage back at the beginning of the act. And also, I'm about 90% certain this is not Mizuha's father. Unless he's changed a lot in the present day. But anyway, Her father tells her he excelled both academically and athletically, and is the most devoted member of the order. I'm sure you'll have healthy children together. And Chamihiko responds, "Gosh, I can't live to all that praise, Guru." I think that's the first time we've learned her father's name is Guru. Okay. And we see Mizuha kind of like clutches her chest. And then she looks up at her father. "What are you saying, father? Mother just died." But Guru tells her, "In order to keep the family bloodline going, it is better to have children early. Your daughter will be the 18th successor." And Izumi just bolts. "No, I'll never marry him. I knew that was my only chance to get away." And Guru calls after her, "Izumi!" And Izumi's like run away, and she just like collapses sobbing. "And I never returned." And then we see her with the baby Mizuha, and her husband, who has lighter hair in this flashback than I remember. But either way, I never regretted my decision. And her husband asks her, "What should we name her?" And just then she hears a voice call out, "The 18th successor!" And it's fucking Chamihiko running after her. "It's the 18th successor! She is born!" And Izumi, they very protectively shielding Mizuha. "What are you doing here?" And then she like, calls out, "Help! He wants to kidnap her! Who in the world are you? Unhand me!" And we see, I think, like I said in my One Piece video yesterday, I can't really zoom in with my laptop the way it is. But I think that like some cops show up and kind of grab him. I had decided that I was going to raise my daughter to be better than everyone else to prove that they were wrong. Hold on, let me read that again. I had decided that I was going to raise my daughter to be better than everyone else to prove that they were wrong. That seems to be sort of the setup to her whole Mizuha must learn everything regardless of her own desires. It spurred all of the drama between Mizuha and Izumi at the beginning of the act. But I don't quite get how the two parts connect there. I decided I was going to raise her to be better because I thought that the cult wants Mizuha to be better than everyone else because she's the successor. So I don't quite know what that's going to prove. Anyway, I wanted to show, no matter what it took, that my decision to leave the order was correct. Oh, okay. So it's still going back to kind of the problems with Mizuha as a parent, or with Izumi as a parent in general. It's still all about Izumi. She's going to raise Mizuha to be the proof that Izumi was right, and not really to raise Mizuha for herself. Anyway, Mizuha was the ultimate proof. Mizuha could do anything, learn anything. And we see her in like a pool, I think, and ice skating, and something with cords and beads. I think I've heard of that before, but it's some fairly traditional Japanese art, or Yanome art, I guess, in this case. And we see Mizuha just like asleep, and her father says, "I'm so proud of our girl. She's definitely got what it takes to be the 18th successor." And he realizes that he's fucked up. And so I think I was right here. Because I said earlier in the video, right, that he had lighter hair than I remembered. I think there's about to be a divorce. The man that we've known as Mizuha's father is like a stepfather. Maybe that's been said before and I just forgot. But the idea that, like, knowing that her husband is a plant from Guru is not something Izumi is going to take well. And we hear a crash that wakes Mizuha up. And her husband tries to calm her down. "Calm down, Izumi. I didn't mean to hurt you. You tricked me. I can't believe you were the Guardians this whole time." And we see Izumi is, horrified at this concept. Her hatred of the Guardians is, like, well documented at this point, and very understandable given her story. "How much did my father pay you? Is this your idea of fun?" And her husband tries to comfort her. "No, I really love you, Izumi. It's just a coincidence it played out this way. Please, don't divorce me." And we see Mizuha's woken up and, like, opened the door. Why did you hide it? I knew you'd hate me if I told you. And then her father, Mizuha just has no good parents. Let's be honest here. But her father comes up to Mizuha and sort of uses her as leverage in this argument. Mizuha, you wouldn't like it if your mother and I split up, would you? Mizuha, who's like 4 in this scene and just woke up, and is in no way ready to process her parents' sudden divorce. And she just kind of groggily asked, "Split up? You don't want to never see me again, do you?" And Mizuha just tears up. Huh? No. And we cut back to Izumi's narration. Mizuha did nothing wrong. Mizuha did nothing wrong. But as my first mistake after leaving home, these events deeply depressed me. And Izumi says the line that's gonna get her in trouble with the knockers, it looks like. Where did I go wrong? I wanna die. I wanna die, I wanna die, I wanna die! And Mizuha hears that. Is that just a bit of a coincidence there? Or, because I don't think Mizuha was infected with the Guardian Knocker from that young an age. I thought that was a fairly recent development. But either way, hearing your mother say that she wants to die is not good for a young child's development. And Mizuha comes up to her, Mama, what can I do to make you want to live? And Izumi looks up at her and says the line that's gonna really sort of snowball all of the drama that, would kill Izumi by the end of it. Try everything and become the best at them. And Mizuha looks away. Then I'll try my hardest at all my lessons. So, will that make you want to live? And Izumi hugs her. Yes, if you do that, it'll make Mama very happy. And that is where the chapter ends. Okay. So let's before I go retrospecting, let's take a look at that final scene again. Specifically, my first mistake after leaving home, these events deeply depressed me, is the implication there that is the first mistake marrying her husband. And because that would make the implication that they got married very quickly. And also that I guess her life was that she had not made any mistakes in the at least 4 or 5 years. Like Mizuha's at least 4, add an extra almost a year for a pregnancy, along with the romance or whatever. It's at least 5 or 6 years, and all that time she's never really made a mistake. It's a weird word choice, and I'm probably looking too deep into it again. But that is kind of who I am as a person, as I'm sure we all know by now. Anyway, this chapter does a great job at sort of really getting us into Izumi's headspace. Like she's kind of a character that's sort of been, on the edge of this drama. I kind of called out in my 140.5 video, the sort of really, really thorny philosophical ground in what to do with Izumi. How, Mizuha wants the knocker to stay because the knocker is actually a good mother, but also doesn't Izumi deserve to live? Being a bad mother does not make you worthy of dying. And this chapter really also just kind of, instead, like, Izumi is no longer just a bad mother. She is a bad mother, don't get me wrong. The way she uses Mizuha to basically get back at her father is, like, not great at the best of times. But she's a deeply understandable person. She desperately wants to prove that she was right to leave the Guardians, and she does that in the worst way by sort of making Mizuha this sort of beacon of her hope, who has to be perfect, and if she's not perfect, then that means that Izumi should have stayed with the Guardians, and that's the exact last thing Izumi wants. But yeah, it also does show, at the same time, even with Izumi's flashback, Izumi, I think to a certain extent, especially at this point, but maybe even back then, realizes what she's doing to Mizuha. Or, I actually don't think she realizes it back then. With the value of hindsight, she definitely realizes that she was very much in the wrong for most of this. but she can't really. But it's too late now. She's the ghost, and Izumi has made, or Mizuha has made her choice. Um, but yeah. Um, what else is there to really dig into that I haven't already? Um, yeah, we see the Guardians as a more religious organization than I think we ever really have before. In Act One, they were more of like a private army um, that just sort of wandered into kingdoms and got allowed to do things there. I have my issues with how the Guardians were set up in Act One. Maybe one day I'll get into it, but it was never quite believable that kings would just let this private army into their kingdoms. And so I think they work a good bit better as a church, especially given the modern, or as a cult, especially in the modern setting. Um, and I'm curious how exactly that's going to play out in the future, especially because the Guardians are kind of like prime fodder for the Knockers. Um, I don't know. I'm also really curious, like I kind of pointed out. I feel like I'm sort of rambling on points as they come to me at this point, but whatever. What Guru says on page 4, that the Knocker that dwelled within Hayase-sama was holy. After defending ancient Renril with Fushi and bringing peace to the world, it returned to paradise with the sixth successor Kahaku. Um, but all, or no, not that line in particular. How many times must I tell you that that interpretation is incorrect? Implying that someone has, implying that someone interpreted the events of Act One to put the Guardian Knocker as the good guy, which like was not true, was very much not true. I don't know. I'm like that's the kind of thing that like might not get brought up again. We might just sort of be accepting that that's sort of how things turned out. But it's definitely an interesting little tidbit there. But then, yeah, after that, it's really just Mizuha's life falling apart. She's engaged to a man who must be like 30 years older than her when she's like a teenager. She quickly has a child, and her child is a plant by her, cult leader father. Um, and she sets her daughter up on the path that will eventually lead to her daughter murdering her. And it hurts to see, but it's just some good flashback right there. This is just a fantastic chapter. And I honestly don't know if there's going to be more to this flashback. If this were a part 1 of the chapter, I'd be like, yeah, the flashback will continue. But it'd be weird for a flashback to be like 141.5 and 142, but not 141 or 142.5. I don't know. We'll have to see. But for now, the flashback we get is just really good. And yeah, it's just really fucking interesting. There's a lot of like gray, murky area in the Izumi drama, and this chapter just sort of, grays it even further. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!